Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 5th of December 2019 to talk about everything that went down this week on NXT on the USA Network. I thought this was a really good show this week. If I had to say what show I liked better, either this or AEW Dynamite, I would probably say slightly NXT. And that may be because just some of the issues I had with Dynamite, like I said last night, if you didn't hear my review for Dynamite, some of my Dynamite issues were that continuity, especially with the MJF, Cody, Bunny, Blade, Butcher thing, things airing during a commercial and then no recap after to let us know, hey, this is what you missed if you didn't see the commercial or you don't want to pay attention to the picture-in-picture. Like I said, me using the TNT app, I don't get to see the commercials, so I don't get the picture-in-picture. I didn't see Melanie Cruz getting basically buzz-shaved, head-shaved. But I digress. Those little things probably what made me think NXT was better this week. Just slight differences. Things that I've said in the past about AEW. Hey, let's pick it up. With NXT, I thought the show overall was good. Some of the stuff like I'll talk about it later. The Xia Li, Shayna Baszler match was just okay. And the opening match was nothing we haven't seen before. But with that, we're here to talk about NXT from this week on the USA Network. So, before the show even started, we learned early yesterday morning that Damian Priest is out with a rib injury, cannot compete. So he was unable to. His match with Killian Dain was technically pulled from the show, but Killian Dain still wrestled. Show opened up with good news. Mauro Ranallo was back. His introduction is interrupted by Killian Dain as he was welcoming us to the show. Killian Dain said that he was supposed to fight tonight, and he's coming down still demanding to fight. Cue up the bruiserweight Pete Dunne. I haven't seen this before. So Killian Dain picked up a victory here. Looked okay. The match was just all right. Nothing we hadn't seen from these two guys before. Dunne showed fire early and used some strikes and joint locks. Dain cut off Dunne with a crossbody block, and then he began working him over. Dain stretched Dunne for a while until Dunne made a fiery comeback. Dunne executed a German suplex for a 2. Dunne landed on his feet after attempting a moonsault, but solely like he may have injured his knee, or at least his knee gave out. Dain then wiped him out with a tope. From there on, the show went to commercial break with a split screen. Dain worked the leg through the commercial break. He applied a half crab, but Dunne got a rope break. Dunne was really selling his knee at this point as he was putting no weight on it, really. Dain continued to maul him. Dain went for a high-risk move, but Dunne tripped him up. Dunne then superplexed him as the show returned from break. Tornado DDT and double stomp on Dain's head. A kick and a cover netted a 2. After twice teasing it early on, Dunne finally landed an Asai moonsault. Dain was still able to recover and drop Dunne on the side of the ring. So the thing right now in wrestling is we wrestle on the apron because it's the hardest part of the ring. But now you've got these damn guys going out there and not just taking bumps on the apron, but the edge of the ring. Because you got to find the harder spot to make it look worse. Don't do that. Please stop. Dain then hit a senton and a cannonball that sandwiched Dunne between the ring steps. Dain went for a Vader bomb, but Dunne caught him in a triangle. Dain then deadlifted Dunne into the power bomb. Dunne countered another attempted Vader bomb and climbed on the turnbuckle. With both perched on the top rope, Dunne applied a sleeper on Dain. Fading into unconsciousness, Dain fell backwards and Dunne landed on his back. They crashed on the mat and both were out. But Dain was on top, so the referee counted 1, 2, 3. Killian Dain defeated Pete Dunne, and I like the way that they did the finish. Like I said, the match itself was all right, but I like the way they did the finish because it's like Killian Dain didn't like destroy or do anything major to like take out Pete Dunne before beating him. He fell off the top, Both guys were knocked out, and Dain just happened to be on top. So I liked that. Pete Dunne still came out looking okay. Kathy Kelly then interviewed Dakota Kai backstage. She said Tegan Nox was not worth her time anymore. Kai then vowed to take out Rhea Ripley later tonight. And then she said, just like I did to that hood rat Mia Yim. They got a commercial for the next takeover in Portland, Oregon on February 16th. Undisputed Era then came to the ring to cut a promo. No Bobby Fish, unfortunately. Adam Cole had both tag titles with him in hand. Cole was cutting a heated promo. And this then cued Keith Lee to come out and interrupt. Crowd showered him and bask in his glory chants. Cole addressed Finn Balor. Cole wanted answers for why Balor attacked him last week and said Undisputed Era was not leaving until they got their answers. O'Reilly then taunted Lee and called him a loser. Lee responded by mentioning he turned Cole into a viral gif for that pounce into the crowd last week. Lee admitted that the title belts that the heels were all holding, cool. But Cole called him out here. Lee struck first with an attack and cleared the ring. Cole was outside the ring when Tommaso Ciampa would run down, put the boots to him from behind. Ciampa then rolled Cole back into the ring. Lee would then hit Cole with a powerbomb, or attempt to hit him with a powerbomb. As he perched him up on his shoulders, O'Reilly and Strong pulled him off. In the melee, Cole had dropped his belt. Ciampa got in the ring and grabbed it, looking at Goldie. Taunted Cole with it. This is going to happen. So, as of right now, the plan is Ciampa versus Cole, not till the February takeover. So, they're going to have to do other things like Ciampa versus Lee. Or no, I mean not Ciampa versus Lee. Cole versus Lee and Cole versus Balor before we get to that. But right now, as of right now, what I was told is the plan for TakeOver Portland on February 16th is Cole Ciampa garnering no injuries or guys needing time off or just no. If the plans don't change, that's what we're going to get. That's what I should say. Xia Li then cut an okay promo for her match later with Shayna Baszler. A short video documented Kushida's injury and recovery. He was shown with his family, and Kushida said that he does this not for himself, but for his family. Bringing them to the United States is to give them a better life. Then got Shayna Baszler versus Xia Li in a non-title match. Baszler submitted Li in a short match where Li showed a lot of fire, but the champ still managed to make her tap. At one point, Baszler worked over the arm, but Li fired up with kicks. Baszler was backpedaling, but she set up a trap. Li escaped the trap and gave Baszler a sunset powerbomb. Li then went to follow it up with a tornado kick, but she missed. Baszler then caught her in the curfew to clutch and made her tap out. Cassius Ohno then had a pre-taped promo, called himself a wrestling genius that is having a career renaissance. He is back in the United States and ahead of Worlds Collide. He's here to throw a challenge to anybody in NXT. Now, if you don't know, Cassius Ohno, we haven't seen him in NXT for a while. That's because he's been a mainstay, a regular on NXT UK. Then we got the Forgotten Sons taking on Leon Ruff and Adrian Atlas, or Atlantis. I can't remember exactly what they called him. This was a nothing match. Forgotten Sons, they've been here for 3 years as a unit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Blake pinned Atlantis in a basic squash. Cutler with a buckle bomb, dispatched Ruff. The Suns then double team Atlantis with their stomp, slop, drop combo. And that was it. Riker then choke slammed Ruff on the apron after the match was over for some reason. Cool. So, Dakota Kai's entrance video was her heel turn in War Games. Just played on loop. Actually kind of cool. Kai was also, again, carrying Tegan Nox's knee brace as she came out to the ring for her match with Rhea Ripley. Ripley cut a promo on Kai before the match, basically stating that the match was set tonight, but it's not what's going to happen. And then Mia Yim stormed down, attacked Dakota Kai, and a brawl ensued. The brawl spilled to the outside, and Yim repeatedly threw Kai into the barricade. The brawl then led to the back. Ripley just stood in the ring, beaming at the chaos she's created. Shayna Baszler and the Horsewoman would run down and attack Rhea Ripley. Jessamine Duke, Marina Shafir attacked first, and then Ripley was trying to fight them off when Baszler hit her from behind. Put her in the Karafuda clutch. Ripley tried to power out, but the Horsewoman helped stomp her down. Baszler choked her out, left Rhea Ripley laying. Baszler then cut a promo on a prone Rhea Ripley. Baszler will then go on to announce that the two will be fighting on December 18th with the NXT Women's Championship on the line. I think that should be a really good match. I did actually hear that by the end of the year, there should be a big title change in NXT, and I believe it's going to be this match. I believe we're finally going to see Shayna Baszler. I say this all the time, so you guys are probably going to call me a broken record. Finally going to see Shayna Baszler drop the belt. You're going to drop it to Rhea Ripley, so then maybe she can come to the main roster. I think Becky called her out on social media this week. I don't know. Becky didn't go name for name, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. If you guys do want to text into the show, you can do so right now at 510-906-1341. You can also use that number to call in after we do finish the review. Again, text or call in at 510-906-1341. Again, we will be taking the calls after we finish the review. This text message here says, do you think when they take the titles off Undisputed Era, they'll do it all at once or one by one? And who do you think should take the tag titles, North American title, etc.? You know, that's hard to say. I expect Ciampa to take the title from Cole in February. But as far as Roddy dropping the belt, as far as Fish and O'Reilly dropping the belts, I don't know. You also got to wait and see what do they do with the tag belts since O'Reilly's technically hurt. He was not on the show this week. So what do? Do you have one of the other members of Undisputed Era pull double duty one night and defend those titles with O'Reilly? I mean, it would have been fine if Roddy didn't have the North American belt. You'd be like, oh, just like last time, just throw him in there. But he's got the North American belt now, so it's going to be interesting. But I do think that Ciampa will get Goldie back on February 16th in Portland. That's the one that I can say that's what I think is going to happen. In the back, interview segment, Kathy Kelly with Tommaso Ciampa and Keith Lee. They revealed Dominik Dijakovic as their partner in a six-man tag team match later tonight against the Undisputed Era. A vignette played talking about the motives of Finn Balor. He said that he's eyeing the title match against Cole, which is the reason he gave him that Pele kick last week. Another much, but equally as good hype video played for Isaiah Swerve Scott, because you got to put that in there. You can't say his name without saying Isaiah Swerve Scott. Basically, the message was, this is Swerve's house. Cool. So then Cassius Ohno, his challenge was requested or accepted by one Matt Riddle. Seen these guys quite a few times face off, with Riddle taking the victory tonight, or last night, I mean. They grappled to a stalemate until Ohno was able to ground Riddle. Riddle escaped a cravat, and he started to come back with a series of strikes. Riddle hit Ohno with a penalty kick before a commercial break. Riddle was hitting Ohno with repeated kicks as the show returned from break. Ohno fought back and mowed down Riddle with a Pele of his own. Ohno went back to the cravat. He held onto the cravat as he spiked him with a Bubba Bomb. Ohno applied a straitjacket, but Riddle escaped and dropped it with a Broton. Ohno tried to cut him off with joint locks on Riddle's bare feet. Riddle answered with strikes. Riddle then delivered a bro to sleep, a powerbomb, the final flash knee, followed it up with a floating bro, but Ohno still managed to kick out. Ohno went back to the cravat and even used a cravat suplex. Ohno went for a gotch pile driver, but Riddle countered. Riddle hit a ripcord knee, then executed the Bro Derek before securing the victory. Like I said, Matt Riddle defeated Cassius Ohno, and Ohno, he's just here to lose, I guess. The next match was supposed to be Kushida's return to the ring. Supposed to be against Raul Mendoza, but Cameron Grimes attacked Mendoza during his entrance. Grimes then took his spot. So we got Kushida versus Cameron Grimes, and I liked the match, but I didn't like Cameron Grimes losing because we've been doing this thing where he's on a roll. Cameron Grimes is winning all these matches very quickly. And it looked like they're going to do something with Cameron Grimes, but he lost. Why would you beat somebody that you had going on like a good trajectory? This was a good match. Like I said, they spent all the time building up Grimes only to have him lose clean. Kushida did a flip dive early off the top to the floor. Grimes twice escaped an attempted octopus, but Kushida was able to apply the stretch on a third attempt. Grimes countered a handspring to give Kushida a German suplex. Kushida made a quick comeback. Grimes went for another German, and Kushida cradled him in a victory roll for the clean victory. Again, you've done all this stuff to build up Cameron Grimes, and you just beat him clean in the middle with a victory roll. Okay. We then learned the next week, Lio Rush will be defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Angel Garza. Also, we did learn next week, Mia Yim will take on Dakota Kai. Now, before we talk about the main event, we've got to talk about the sponsor of this video, and that is Fight TV and their broadcast of this weekend's Combate Americas event, Tito versus Alberto. This weekend, the former UFC light heavyweight champion and current UFC Hall of Famer Tito Ortiz will be taking on former WWE champion Alberto El Patron. This will be Tito Ortiz's first match in about a year. This will be El Patron's first match in about a decade when these two do square off inside the cage for Combate Americas. If you use the link in the description below or use bit.ly/Tito Alberto, you will not only support us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited when you purchase the event, but you will get a $3 Fight TV credit to use on your next purchase. This fight does go down this Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and it is available on Fight TV. Again, use the link in the description below or go to bit.ly/Tito Alberto to help support PWUnlimited when you purchase this event. Tito vs. Alberto comes to you live this Sunday on Fight TV. So, moving on with NXT in the main event, it was Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, and Dominik Dijakovic. I'm finally getting used to saying his name like that. Defeating the Undisputed Era's Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. The babyface team dominated much of the early portion of this match. Dijakovic got the shine on a lot of, both of them, all three of them really, before the commercial break. He continued to run roughshod during the break. Undisputed Era trying ganging up on him, and they eventually overpowered him. They were working him over when the show returned from break. Strong started taunting Dijakovic when he fired up. Undisputed Era still used double-handed tactics to maintain control. Ciampa ran wild after a hot tag. He cleaned house of Undisputed Era, hit the Project Ciampa on O'Reilly, which led to a near fall. Ciampa then went for an air raid crash, but Strong made a blind tag for the save. Ciampa was hit with a high-low combo for a 2 count. After a great series of exchanges between Ciampa and Strong, this led to a double down. Lee and Cole then got tagged in. Cole ate a lariat, and he powdered. Dijakovic did a corkscrew plancha to the outside as several people were fighting in the ring. Finn Balor ran down. The referee had been knocked out here, and he hit the shotgun dropkick on Cole. And that's when he knocked out the referee. Balor then executed the 1916 on Ciampa. Balor then went to measure Cole, but Lee broke it up. This, if you have not seen this, which I assume you did since you're listening to my review, so the camera is basically right in Finn Balor's face. And he's in the corner, backed up with the guns, doing his little taunt, getting ready to attack Cole. And all of a sudden, just like the Loch Ness Monster coming out of the Blue Lagoon, or whatever you want to call it, just coming up into camera. Got this, I'm going to F you up, I'm going to fuck you up look. And just grabs Finn by the neck. Lee would then take out Balor with a spirit bomb. Cole then hit Lee with a super kick. Cole went for the last shot, but Lee countered it and delivered a nice jackhammer. Lee covered Cole for the victory as the crowd counted along, as the groggy referee barely made the count. Great finish. I mean, find the clip, find the GIF. Keith Lee just coming up into frame from the bottom up, coming up. It's a great visual because Finn's not paying attention to him because he's thinking, okay, I'm gonna get the champ. And Lee is just like, you really want to interrupt my match, boy? He just looked like a scary dude that ready to wreck shop. And he did. So, like I said, great finish. Played into the story. As the match ended, William Regal then ran out and said, hey, you know what? Next week, we're going to have a triple threat match. It's going to be Keith Lee, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa. The winner will then move on to December 18th and challenge Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. So with that, we've got 5 matches that were announced last night for the next 2 weeks. Next week, we've got the Triple Threat number 1 contender match, Cruiserweight Championship match, Lio Rush defending against Angel Garza, and we've got Mia Yim and Dakota Kai. Following week, December 18th, which I believe is the final show of the year, we do have the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler defending against Rhea Ripley, where I think Ripley's getting that belt. And we've got the NXT title match. I hope it's Keith Lee. I don't want to see Keith Lee lose this early into his push. But I also don't see it being Finn yet. Especially since Keith Lee's the hottest with the fans of the 3. So I see Keith Lee winning the triple threat next week. Moving on to NXT the following week. And unfortunately probably losing to Cole. It probably won't be like a clean finish or anything. Probably have Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong come down, cause a distraction, hit him with something. So, hey, should be a good show the next couple of weeks. Got a couple text messages here. If you do want to text in or call in, you can do so at 510-906-1341. Again, let me know your thoughts at 510-906-1341. This text message here says, do you think Finn Balor will eventually join Undisputed Era since they usually have some sort of an interaction every week? No. They have an interaction every week because he wants to take the title from Cole. That's why they have an interaction. Not because he wants to join the Undisputed Era, because he wants to take out the Undisputed Era. This person here says, what do you think of the Kai heel? Oh, Dakota Kai's heel turn. I like it. I think it's good for her. She was starting to feel stale. Her character was like, okay, I see what you're doing. You're like Bayley, but light. Bayley light. And now making her a heel. I get people like, oh, they turned her heel the same time they turned Bayley heel. They're too similar. Da, 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 da. It's fine. I think her heel turn was more effective than Bayley's. But there's no need to really, what am I saying? There's no need to really compare the two either. But I think Dakota Kai has been doing great as a heel. This person says, do you think Garza is going to take the title from Lio Rush? That's a tough one. You know, Garza lost about a month ago, I want to say now, with the title on the line. And every time that they've had some sort of an interaction backstage, Lio Rush has got the upper hand. So there is a chance. But Lio Rush has been killing it as the Cruiserweight Champion, having the best matches of anybody in NXT with different opponents every week. So I can see Garza winning the title. I don't see it as not a possibility. But if I had to pick one or the other, I think Lio Rush should keep the belt. So with that, I do want to say thank you guys for joining me here live to talk about this week's NXT on the USA Network. Thank you to everybody who watches later right here on YouTube and listens later on podcast services all around the world like iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and so much more. We'll be live again tomorrow night following SmackDown on the Fox Broadcasting Network. So, have a good night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow after SmackDown.